And now it's Citizen Science with Matthias and Notes from the Field. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Matthias. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So I'm going to be talking to you about citizen science. Don't go away. We'll talk later about whether you can use citizen science help. I love the TASH as well. So I'm not going to waffle 10, 15 minutes and then we'll be done, hopefully. So my talk is going to be in two parts. One is a bit about citizen science, and then one, hopefully, is a nice surprise for some of the early career explorers. My name's Matthias Hammer. I run an NGO called Biosphere Expeditions, which I founded about a generation ago. And what we do is we fleece cash-rich, time-poor people to come with us on expeditions, and that empowers local scientists, maybe those who like creepy crawlies, to run their projects. So the people who come with us, they help on two levels. One is the funding, the money that they pay, and two is their workforce. And then we also have placements, local placements. We empower them, and then I'll talk a bit more about empowering in a minute. So, citizen science, I call it the collecting stamps conundrum, if you like. So it is about collecting stamps. The beautiful thing about citizen science and the beautiful thing about biology is that we need boots on the ground. Luckily, technology can't do everything yet. I can't ask a drone how many snow leopards are there in the Tian Shan Mountains. We still need people on the ground looking for shit, doing the camera trap work, etc., etc. And citizen science you can use for that beautifully, and I'll give you lots of examples of how that works. But first, let's take a step back. What is citizen science? I'm sure most of you know, but just a very quick review. It's a collaborative process where ordinary people, members of the public, contribute to scientific research. And it can take lots of forms. It can be you walking through the woods looking for piles of shit, or it can be you working on an app for air quality, or it can be you giving your computer time to a bigger project. So there's many ways of doing it. Its strengths are scale, speed, local knowledge. It uses local knowledge, and I'll get back to you, especially you, those of you who are thinking about organizing your first expeditions. It's cost effective, and it engages lots of people on lots of different levels. And it's now widely recognized as an empowering branch of science. I remember 25 years or 26 years ago when we started Biosphere Expeditions, we were kind of laughed at, or, saying, what is this? Like ordinary people collecting data, that can't work. They're not biologists. How does that work, etc. But nowadays, it's been recognized by UN and many, many, many other bodies. And for us, as an expedition organization, it is actually one of the four things that we need to make a successful expedition. So we need a sexy species to inspire people to come and spend their money. And then we need meaningful tasks, and this is where citizen science comes in, and then maybe that's something that you and I can work on. So you have boots on the ground looking at your snakes and your frogs. We need decent logistics and funding. I'm not going to talk about that much because it's not the topic of my talk. So for citizen science, unfortunately, there's lots of charlatans around these days. And when we started 25 years ago, there was Earthwatch, there was us, there was Operation Raleigh. And nowadays, there's lots of people who pretend they're doing citizen science. They never write up their results. And I remember Shane, when I first engaged with the Expedition Advisory Center, saying, if you don't write up your results, you might as well lie on the beach. So actually, it's not that hard if you do a volunteering, although I hate the word, a volunteering expedition. It's not that hard to do the right thing. because you can get people to look for tracks. Of course, I don't expect you with a couple of days of training to identify tracks, because very few people can do that, and about half of those get it wrong. But you can take a picture. I can teach you how to take a picture with a scale. I can teach you how to take a GPS point, how to fill in a data sheet in 2 days, no problem. And then I've got you as my eyes and ears in the ground in pairs, looking for these things. You bring back the picture of the track to base camp. The scientist looks at it, oh, no, that's a fox, I'm not interested in that. Or you come back and says, oh, that could be a snow leopard. Take me there tomorrow. I'll have a look myself. So, it's this scaling up of the effort. And camera trapping, everyone can change the batteries in a camera trap, but someone's got to do it. There's no robot or no drone that does it, or change the SD card, or place an SD card. In two days, I can teach you, this is how you should place the camera trap, this is where it should look, make sure there's no branches that trigger it in front of it, etc. Data entry you can do, recording behavior. So all these things are citizen science tasks that you can teach people easily in a couple of days. So she's taking the time between blows of whales, which is a stress indicator. Easy. Camera trapping. Now, and these are two guys from Oman, and one of them is now developing a research center in Dhofar. He's gone through the ranks and come up in the world as a scientist. And this is the empowering thing. Ray talked about all the great names that are written on here of the explorers in the last couple of 100 years. But they were all, well, not all of them, but most of them were white men of a certain age. And the beautiful thing about citizen science is it empowers people, and it empowers local people. So when you do go and set up your expedition, make sure you involve local people. Make sure you involve local people through citizen science. Because you can teach them how to set up a camera trap easily. And then they will be your workforce in the field. She's looking at oryx bottoms, because that's a measure of how well fed they are. It actually comes from rearing cows. You look at their rumps, and then there's, I think, 5 stages of how fat they are and how well they're doing. She's meant to take a picture of the fluke of the whale, but she's kind of getting carried away in the moment, because flukes are like fingerprints, as you probably all know. There are technological solutions of tags, but they often come off. Because some of the whales dive very deep, and then they tend to come off. So the old-fashioned take a photo, put it in a database, and then compare where the whales are moving from Greenland to the Azores still works. Involve local people in your expeditions. They can be your knowledge base, your eyes and ears. They will tell you where the animals move, where they mate, where they sleep, where they drink. Involve them, and make sure that your expedition is actually what local people want. Gone are the days of colonialism where we go in as white middle-aged men and tell people what they need. No, ask them what they need, and ask them what they want to know about. Use their knowledge, So she's asking them, where have you seen snow leopards? Have you suffered any losses, livestock losses from snow leopards? And then use their knowledge. So this is a birder who's talking to our expedition team and teaching them how to recognize animals, how to recognize birds in this case. And then citizen science can also be along transects. So that's the kind of clever word for a line that can be anywhere, like on the mountain. You walk along the line, you record what you see, and then by doing some clever statistics, you can get presence, absence, or other parameters of animals. Or the line can be underwater. So you dive don't know why it keeps doing this, but anyway. So you dive along that line and you record the species of fish, invertebrates, and corals you see. And these are all people who've been trained a couple of days. Or, again, you use local knowledge. You use them as guides or whatever your expedition wants to do. Make sure you involve local people. Or the transect can be in the snow, or it can be along a beach. And then obviously citizen science also involves some gadgets and data entry, whichever way you want to do it, but it can be a focus for the work that you're doing, that because you have to make the data sheets idiot-proof for your citizen scientists, it forces you to think about good data collection. Or you listen for whale vocalizations. Before you can take a picture of the whale fluke, you need to know where the whales are. So you put the hydrophone in the water, you listen, and then you get your boat there and wait until they dive and show their fluke. Or you track animals that have been collared. And this is through telemetry, so that's the kind of old style, but if you just have a VHF collar, then you get 3 positions and you do some triangulation and then you can find out where an animal is. Or you do it the old style, which is just a mud trap. You do that, you play in the mud, and then you leave it for 24 hours, and then you look who came by. Sometimes, as a caveat, it involves trapping and tracking animals. Trapping is only if the scientist knows what they're doing, because there's lots of issues about animal welfare involved. Or sometimes, like this one, we pull out an animal, we tag this turtle. It's just like bird ringing. Pull it out, measure it, weigh it, tag it, put it back in, so when someone else encounters the turtle, then you can trace paths of movement. Or this is when the turtles come on the beach to nest and to lay their eggs. Then we take the eggs, which are prized as an aphrodisiac, and we put them in a hatchery, and then the job of our citizen scientists is to guard the hatchery until the eggs hatch, and then when they hatch, we do this, and then we release them onto the beach, and then they crawl into the water because they need that to imprint. You were laughing. The reason the eggs are seen as an aphrodisiac because a lot of turtles, the males cling onto the females, and they do that for 12 hours to make sure that they inseminate the female and it's only them. So the men amongst us think, oh yeah, then I can go for hours. That's why people think it's an aphrodisiac. So there she is. This is a leatherback. She's laying her eggs, and then we just put a plastic bag underneath her cloaca, and the eggs drop in there, and then we take it to a hatchery where we dig out another nest, put the eggs in, and then we just guard that hatchery 24 hours. Or we engage schools. So these guys on our expeditions, they live just outside the protected area, and believe it or not, many of them have never been inside. So we bring them inside, we do a day with them of education, and then we drive them around and show them the animals that live in their own backyard. So on expedition, citizen science for you, as people who may be thinking of organizing an expedition, it's relatively easy to implement because the tasks are easy. It empowers local people and communities because by involving them and asking them what they want, you are going down the right way. And it's one way to ensure local buy-in. If you involve people, if you ask them what they want, you have much more chance of having local buy-in. It creates jobs, and in the end, we can make ourselves redundant. So one of the most successful expeditions we've had is one in Kenya where we took 3 years to teach the rangers in a conservancy on how to do the surveys, and now they're doing it themselves, and we're moving on to the next conservancies because they copped onto it, and they said, oh, can you do this with us as well? So that is a short overview of citizen science, how it works, and how you can integrate it into your expedition, perhaps. And if you want more information, then we have a workshop today in the tea room about this topic with some examples from the field. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's part one.
Oh, sorry, you're still going.
I'm still
okay,
got to
sorry,
go.
I thought you were...
No. I've got 6 minutes, 12 seconds.
He's still going. There you go.
That's fine, that's fine. So now, I said at the beginning, I probably wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't... Why does it keep doing this? Do you know? Well, anyway. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the Expedition Advisory Center and Nigel and Shane. And I would like you to do some morning exercise. So everyone who's for the first time at Explore, please get up. So, thank you. So stay standing for a second. You are the future. No matter what your age is, but you are the ones going out and doing these things and doing these explorations and doing science. And I was in your shoes 30 years ago, more years than I care to remember. So, well done for taking that first step. Good luck on your endeavors, and you really do have an amazing resource here at the RGS for that. Thank you. Please be seated. So, because I was in your shoes 30 years ago, and I probably wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for the RGS and Shane and Nigel, I thought it's time to give back. So Shane, please. Shane and I are very happy to announce this Exploration Bursary, which will give one free place on our expedition for an early career explorer. It doesn't have to be a student or a young person, an early career explorer or a field researcher. You apply, the first stage is you apply for with a 100-word essay, and the deadline is the 1st of January next year. And you obviously have a QR code, Shane.
So I really see this as an opportunity for you who may think that science isn't for you, but you were inspired by Deepak and other talks over the weekend to actually go and practice some data collection that will be relevant to the communities where they're working, and to see if you enjoy it and give you the confidence to design a research project of your own. The beauty of joining something like a biosphere expedition is that someone else has done the research, so you can enjoy the experience, collect the data, and be part of it. But of course, here at the Society, we hope that you will go on to work with colleagues in teams, perhaps to apply for what was the Geographical Fieldwork Grant, the new small expedition grants that are called the RGS Explore grants, in the years after. And the great thing is that because organizations like Biosphere are already embedded and have local collaborators, just as Deepak did in the Western Ghats, maybe you can have conversations about what a small team can do to contribute to science. We're immensely grateful to Biosphere for giving up this opportunity. They do give other sorts of internships, but we just thought it would be a nice way of celebrating just over 25 years of collaboration, and next year, 50 years of Explore, to give that opportunity, because it seems increasingly difficult for particularly undergraduate groups to take those first steps into scientific expeditions. Because of the pile 'em high, perhaps, but it is open. So please apply. If you don't play, you don't win. It's also true for our GS grants. It's only 100 words, and I think the selection criteria is that we are all interested in what your passion is. You can go on the website and see what projects are offered. It is only the place on the exhibition. You would have to fund your flight and accommodation.
Yes, you do.
But I think with that passion and some fundraising tips and perhaps a bit of crowdfunding, you could get there. So, Matthias, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
And enjoy the workshop. You know, he's here until tonight at 5. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. So it doesn't include the travel there. That's on purpose because we will support you for some fundraising efforts. But the rest is all paid for, so you don't have to pay for accommodation. And if you want to talk to us, we have a table, and then, of course, we have the workshop later today. Thank you very much. Now.